When it comes to creating living, breathing, nutrient-rich soil, there's nothing quite like the humble earthworm. These underground powerhouses not only break down organic matter, but also improve drainage, aerate compacted soil, and deliver castings that serve as natural fertilizer. But in many small-space gardens, containers, raised beds, or urban soil boxes, earthworms don't just appear on their own. They need a reason to move in. After years of trial and error here at Hydrohaven, we finally found a natural mixture that works like a magnet. And when we poured it into lifeless soil, earthworms started tunneling in within just 4 days. The key to this formula lies in replicating the scent and microbial cues of a decomposing forest floor. Worms don't have eyes, but they sense moisture, pH, microbial activity, and chemical signals in the soil. The mixture we used is made from a blend of ingredients that feed microbes, stimulate worm foraging behavior, and soften compacted dirt. It's not a fertilizer, not a compost tea, it's something in between, and it's designed specifically to invite worms into any growing space, fast. To make the mixture, we began with a base of aged leaf mold. This material is essentially decomposed fall leaves that have broken down over months into a dark, spongy humus. If you don't have access to leaf mold, aged forest soil collected from the top layer of wooded areas will work too, as long as it's rich in microbial life. We soaked a few handfuls in dechlorinated water overnight, letting the beneficial fungi and bacteria reactivate and multiply. This step is vital because worms follow microbes, not raw organic matter. You're not trying to feed the worms directly, you're creating a microbial feast that they'll detect and flock to. Next, we added a splash of blackstrap molasses to the soak water. Not much, just a teaspoon per gallon, but enough to kickstart microbial bloom. Unlike fruit juices or sugary drinks, blackstrap molasses is mineral-rich and doesn't ferment in the same volatile way, making it safer and more stable in the soil. The mixture was then stirred gently and left for another 12 hours to build up microbial life. After that came the secret enhancer, a handful of well-aged compost. This wasn't fresh compost straight from the pile, but sifted, finished compost full of worm castings and crumbly humus. Its purpose wasn't just to add nutrients, but to seed the mixture with live soil organisms, bacteria, protozoa, and fungi, that would signal to earthworms that the soil was alive and ready for colonization. When we combined the soaked leaf mold tea, molasses, and aged compost, the mixture smelled earthy, sweet, and full of life. That's when we knew it was ready. We poured the mixture directly into our raised bed soil, focusing especially on spots that had grown compact or crusty. There was no need to dig or till. We simply watered it in slowly, letting the mix seep about 3 to 4 inches deep. The top was then mulched lightly with shredded leaves to help hold moisture and create an inviting surface layer. Within the first 2 days, the soil's texture began to change. It became looser, slightly darker, and began to smell richer. By day 4, we noticed the first signs of worm activity, small castings on the surface, faint tunnels near the mulch, and eventually, red wigglers themselves appearing when we gently lifted the mulch layer. What makes this mixture so effective is its three-pronged approach. First, it introduces microbial life and feeds it, creating the kind of biologically active soil worms naturally seek. Second, it slightly acidifies the upper soil zone, a condition that many composting worm species prefer. And third, it moistens the soil without saturating it, keeping conditions ideal for worm mobility and survival. So it's important to note that this method isn't just a one-time trick. If you repeat the pour every 2 weeks during the growing season, you're not only encouraging worms to come, but you're convincing them to stay. Over time, the soil becomes a living ecosystem, and it's no longer dependent on synthetic fertilizers or constant intervention. You'll start to notice, fewer problems with compaction, better moisture retention, and plants with healthier root systems. Worms do this work quietly and efficiently, but only if the environment feels right. And honestly, this mixture is how you create that environment in even the smallest garden space. If your garden is in containers or raised beds on a balcony, you may wonder whether worms can even find their way in. The answer is yes, especially composting worms like Eisenia fetida, which are commonly found in leaf piles, mulch bags, and even in aged store-bought compost. By creating the right conditions, you're sending a signal to nearby worms, sometimes only a few feet away, that your soil is a good home. In urban areas where worm movement is limited, you can also apply this mixture directly to worm bins or add a small amount to potted plants to boost microbial life. Either way, you're fostering a deeper biological web that strengthens your entire growing system. One more tip. Avoid combining this mixture with synthetic fertilizers or chemical sprays. These substances can disrupt the microbial balance you're trying to establish and may repel worms instead of attracting them. Stick with natural amendments and organic matter, and let biology do the work. The beauty of this method lies in its simplicity and its respect for the soil's natural intelligence. Whether you're trying to bring life back to a dead planter box, build worm populations in a new raised bed, or simply boost the fertility of your garden without digging, this mixture delivers fast results. It's cost-effective, easy to make with materials you probably already have, and, best of all, it works in harmony with nature instead of against it. If this guide brought value to your gardening journey, help us grow our soil-loving community by subscribing to Hydrohaven and sharing this video with your fellow growers. Worms are waiting to show up. You just need to pour the right welcome mat.